Are you looking for a way to manage your hybrid team and know where your people are working from? Power Platform to the rescue. Stuart Ridout is here with us to show his Dataverse for Teams solution, TeamLink, on the low-code revolution. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Low Code Revolution. Today, we're joined by Senior Customer Success Manager for Modern Work, Stuart Ridout. Welcome to the show, Stuart.
Hi, April. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, very excited to have you. We've been talking for a little bit, so happy to finally have you on the show. So what you've done here is build a great solution using Dataverse for Teams for managing and bringing together your hybrid work team schedules. So before we dive into a demo of the app, I was hoping you could maybe talk a little bit about the background of what made you have the idea for the app, and then maybe a little bit about Dataverse for Teams. We haven't really talked about it much on the show, so maybe giving everyone a little overview of what Dataverse for Teams is, when you might use it over like other standalone Power Apps applications and things like that.
Absolutely. So this was born out of a problem that we were having ourselves in Microsoft. COVID had happened. We wanted to come back into the workplace, but I don't want to drive. I mean, for me, it's 2 hours to my nearest office. I don't want to drive 2 hours to come into an office to find that nobody else is there, and then just to sit and be on calls with the people that I were hoping was going to be in the office at the same time as me. So TeamLink was born out of that problem to say, well, we want to know when each other are in. It's a tool to create serendipity, to say, oh, who else is in? And not just my own team, but like wider. So, all of those people that you just used to bump into when you went to the office, you'd be like, April's going to be in the office. Oh, brilliant. I'm definitely going to go in because I'll make sure that I can bump into her or even arrange to have coffee. So that was the problem statement. And we knew that actually if we built it for us, then everybody else would love it as well. So although within Microsoft, we use Dataverse, use the full Dataverse. It was built so that it would work in Dataverse for Teams, so that other people could use that and use their seeded license and use what they get as part of their M365 package. And it was important to me to build it in Dataverse for Teams as opposed to in SharePoint, because what I wanted to be able to do was give people the opportunity to scale up afterwards. I see a lot of use cases when I talk to customers where they built a great app on SharePoint and it worked for 10 people for a few hundred rows. And then they go, oh, we want to go, this has got great business value for us. We want to go to Dataverse. What's the path for us to get from SharePoint to Dataverse? And actually, there's quite a lot of rework that has to happen in that. But if they built it in Dataverse for Teams in the first place, so they prove it out as part of their M365 license, then when they have the amazing idea and their boss's boss comes to them and says, this is going to save the company millions, I need it ready tomorrow for the whole company, then they can either carry on for that, or if they get millions and millions of users and millions of rows, they can scale out and just have a really easy upgrade path that takes them to full Dataverse. So that's why it was built for that. And also, we don't have any of that messing about setting up SharePoint lists and things like this. It's just in that solution file, so it's super neat.
Yeah, that's what I love about Dataverse for Teams personally. I love SharePoint. I come from a SharePoint background. So, there's a time and a place for that, depending on scale, like you mentioned. But, Dataverse for Teams being included in that seeded license in our Microsoft 365 license there, and being able to take advantage of the capabilities of Dataverse from a security standpoint, from a scalability standpoint, and then have that easy path to migrate over to full Dataverse if you need to really scale out the solution, I think is really, really the key to hit home there on why you might consider Dataverse for Teams. And what you built sounds like a perfect use case for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see a demo of the application. It sounds like something that could help a lot of people, like everyone's doing kind of hybrid work. And so you have something to show us here?
Absolutely. So let's have a look here. So I've got it in Teams, and it works in Teams on the desktop. It works in the mobile client as well. It resizes and responsive. But we've got it here in Teams, and I've got it here on my left-hand app bar, because actually for lots of users, it's core to what they do. And because it's Teams, you can really easily pre-install it for the whole organization, sticking it, making it a real high priority, high value app here on there. But if you want to have it live in a team, it can live in a team as well as a channel at the top here. So this is a brand new experience. So this is onboarding someone. So firstly, what country are they operating in? And you can have as many countries as you want. And that helps to decide what sites we show them. Then what working days would you like to display? We know that not everybody works 5 days a week. Some people work part-time. Some countries have different working days, etc. So we wanted to make sure that the app worked for everybody. So you pick which days of the week you want to work, and then you pick which sites you're interested in. So this has filtered me now for the UK sites. So I'm just saying I'm interested in London and Manchester. And that's it. So that's the onboarding for a new user. And then it takes us to this front screen. So for us, TeamLink is a voluntary app. It's a way for people to get together. And it kind of gives people the information that we want to work out loud. We want to show other people our presence. And then we can go in here. Now, there is a whole other path for this, which is for screen readers or keyboard navigation. And I can show that to you really quickly at the end, but it was important that we gave like a top experience for screen readers and keyboard navigation here. So this is what it comes like when you come in. So let's say today I'm working from home. Monday, I might say I'm going to be working in London, etc. And you can go through there. So for each day, you've got this option of either home, I'm not working. So we're not looking to replicate like a vacation tool or anything like this. We're just saying, I'm either working at home, I'm working in the office, or I'm not working. And again, here we can pick which offices we're in. And it uses our preferences then to prioritize them at the top. Then down the bottom here, we've got a pinned list. So people I'm interested in. So I could maybe go and search for people. So let's say I was interested in Nesta. I can pin him onto my pinned list, and I could have a few other people there, and I'd be able to see their presence information as well. Or here, this shows me members of my team. So I can see here the people who I'm in a team with. If I was a manager, it would have another button here, which says My Directs. So this allows me to differentiate between my peers, my colleagues that I'm working with at the same level, and the people that I manage. And then lastly, if you install this into a team, there's another button which says This Team. So that's a really good way to take the app, put it in lots of different teams, and say, well, if I'm working with the customer X team, then here that allows me to see where the customer X people are, whereabouts. The project Y team, that will allow me to see the whereabouts of them. So it allows you to really kind of slice and dice it in lots of different ways. And then, so from that, you can do that. And again, we can just pin people here. And then we could view it a different way. So viewing it by site. So you can say, I'm going to be in the office on Monday. And you'd be able to see other people. Now, currently, it's just me there. But if there were other people, you'd be able to click on this little coffee icon. It would send them a message in Teams that says, hey, we're both in London on Monday. Why don't we meet for coffee? And then we can switch back to the individual view here. Now, that was how how TeamLink started, and it grew and evolved over time. So what I love about Power Apps is that you can just keep iterating, and it just updates for everybody. We don't have to mess about with updates and things. So we brought in new features here. So you could say default location. So you could say, hey, Monday and Tuesday, I normally work from home. Wednesday, I normally work from London. Thursday in Manchester, and then Friday, I'm back home again. And then that exposes that to everyone to say, well, they haven't put their presence in yet, but this is their default. Again, we can customize the working days. We can change what country we're in, pick which sites we're in. And then one of the latest features we've just added is delegate access. So you could say, actually, for me, I want to also give Miriam access to be able to update on my behalf. Okay. And then that will then give Miriam an option here at the top that says switch profile. So if I did switch profile, I am a delegate for Nesta. So I could click now and it will reload TeamLink, but adding me in as working for Nesta. So we'll just onboard Nesta there because he's not used it before. There we go. And then I can go and act as Nesta. So I can say, well, actually, he's not working for the first few days. And then on Wednesday, he's working from home. And then Thursday, he'll be in London. In fact, let's put him in London on Monday as well. But you can see here that Nesta is a manager. So he's got direct reports as well. as well as his peers. And then if he goes to view by site, then we can see now on Monday, there's 2 people in London. So there's me and Nesta. So we can both, we can then see who's in. You can search this by name or department where there are lots of people. And it just creates those opportunities for people to connect. So that's the app experience. But one of the things I love about this, and actually internally for us, this is how we get a lot of our presence information, is the integration with Power Automate. Because on the last working day of the week, it sends you a little card. So my last working day of the week is Friday. On a Friday, I get a card that says, hey, the week's over. What are you doing next week? So it drives me to keep that up to date and keep the data fresh, because the app is only as good as the data that's in that. So I could say, actually, next week, I'm not working the first couple of days, then I'm in Manchester for a couple of days, and then I'm at home, and then submit that.
I love that piece. So I'm thinking, sorry not to interrupt your flow there, but I was just thinking, like, I would probably be the one that forgets to update this. So having that reminder using Power Automate right there in Teams is so convenient.
100%. And for me, I'll put my hands up and say I'm a nerd, but when I get up in the morning, I check my Teams to go, oh, what am I doing for the day? And the card is already there for me when I wake up in the morning. So I actually just do it on my phone before I go into the office, or before I even come into my home office and do that. So it just allows me to do it while I remember and go, oh yeah, that's what I need to do. And as I say, for our own instance, about 70% of our 70% of our presence updates come via that adaptive card there.
Oh, wow.
So it's a great way. It's a great way to be able to keep people up to date. And for us, it's grown virally, where people are going, oh, can you go and use this app because I want to know where you're going to be and things like this. So it's been really valuable for us, and we've had a lot of customers who've come to us to say, actually, can we do it? So we made it available on GitHub so that anybody can download it as well.
That's all. I can see so many people benefiting from this. I mean, my husband is a perfect example. They do like one day in the week in the office or optional, and he'll show up sometimes and no one's there. So being able to have an app just like this where you can see who else will be there and be able to send that message. I love that feature as well. Like, hey, we should meet up if we're both going to be at the office for coffee or whatever. I love one thing I like, if we have a little bit more time, is you mentioned that screen reader functionality and that kind of an alternate experience that you had there. I love that you kind of led with accessibility in mind there. That's a topic we love to always bring up here, and how we can build accessible apps with the Power Platform. So let's see that really quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've gone back in to the app here, and we can see that we've got these 2 paths. Now, the thing about TeamLink is it is a very visual app. It's grid-based. It's got people at different points. The whole design of it is to say, how can it be as impactful as possible when you see it, to make it easy? Now, you could go through and do all of the right things here. You could label all of those images. You could make sure all the buttons are correctly named. But what we actually found is it doesn't really make sense unless you can see it visually. So even though you might kind of run an accessibility check against it, and the accessibility check goes, yeah, everything's labeled up, it's great. It actually isn't the best experience. So that's why we created an alternate version for this. So still using the same data, has every single feature in it. But here it then is navigated by keyboard here. It has all of those buttons with lots of detail on. But for instance, if you went to view and set my presence, it goes through and it says Friday, 3rd of February, showing confirmed presence of London. And then you can go through and use those drop downs and things like this. So we've just tried to minimize kind of the customization and really keep it to core drop down button label functionality, so that it is compatible with as many screen readers as possible, and to give people the best experience there. And again, you can see that we provide instructions on the top of every screen so that you know what you're looking at, because otherwise it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to you. So that was a really important thing for us, was that even though you did all the right things, technically, you still have to run that through. And I went through and just pushed my mouse to one side and just tried to navigate with the keyboard. And it was just hard. It's hard work. It's hard work in that gridding space. And there's little pop-ups that come and they can appear at different places. So we wanted to make it accessible to everybody as well.
I love that. So that's a big kind of sticking point. Like, we have the accessibility checker is great, but to your point, it doesn't account for everything. We got to think about someone navigating with the keyboard, and sometimes we get hung up on, well, how do we, mix that experience with the experience that we want that's kind of a little bit more visual, like you said that you have, which is great. And I love that you kind of just have that alternate screen where you need to navigate with the keyboard. Here's the approach, and took that. That's a really great approach for adding accessibility in.
And we found that there were actually occasions where you could get trapped. So, just by acting in that way and saying, right, I'm only going to navigate my app via keyboard, we found those little places where people can get caught or get stuck in a loop where there might be a gallery where they find it hard to exit or whatever.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. I really love this application. I think it'll benefit a lot of people. And it's a great use case and case study there for using Dataverse for Teams and taking full advantage of the Teams plus Power Platform integration. So thanks so much for showing this to us.
No worries at all.
Yeah. And you mentioned it's on GitHub. So where can everyone go to download and start using
on
this?
GitHub. So if you go to aka.ms/get TeamLink, it is on there. There's all instructions on how you can install it. We've got videos, best practice on how you can install it across multiple teams. Because it's Dataverse for Teams, the data lives inside a team. But if you don't have a whole org team, or you want to kind of allow people in from outside of that team, there's some best practices and ways to do that. So that's there. You just go over onto this right-hand side where the releases are. And it's got all the release notes, tells you what's new, and then you can download from there. And like, for instance, so this is the latest one. We've got a whole load of stuff I didn't even cover. So we've had customers say, oh, we want to tweak the branding. Like we want to have our own colors, or those kind of presents like the home and the work and the office logo. We like them, but actually we want to have our design team create all of that. The whole app is database driven. So every graphic is actually stored in a database, so you can change that. It's translated into French, into German, into Spanish, and English as well.
Wow.
So loads of ways to make it work for you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much again, Stuart, for coming on and showing this great solution.
No
Everyone
worries at
watching, if you want to download it, go to that link, aka.ms/get TeamLink, and give it a try. And we'll see you next time in the latest episode of the Low Code Revolution.